Today, I want to talk about Palantir and their upcoming Q4 earnings. We will talk about their commercial as well as their government customers, as well as talk about something that could have a big impact on the stock price in 2024. So if you enjoy the video, drop a like down below, and if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. Let's start off by taking a look at Palantir's stock chart. We can see that over the last 6 months, this stock is down almost 16%, and over the last 1 to 2 months, it's really traded in a range anywhere from $18 down to $16. Just a few months back, we saw it hit its 52-week high of $21.34. And if we zoom out a year, we can see that Palantir's stock is up over 100%. However, that is a little bit deceiving because if you go back to June 15th of 2023, the stock is up less than 1%. And one of the things that has limited growth around Palantir's stock price has been around concern for government deals. We have seen Palantir lose out on a couple of deals and have to split deals with other vendors, and that has created some concerns from investors about whether the government business is going to hold up for Palantir. And that even showed up in their Q3 earnings report, where they showed that their year-over-year government revenue growth was only 12%, sitting at $308 million. However, in my opinion, commercial customer count as well as commercial revenue are far more important metrics to the business. Government revenue tends to slow down, and that is not going to be a major growth factor for this company. We even saw that in their third quarter earnings, where they announced that their commercial revenue grew 23% year over year and their commercial customer count grew 37% year over year. And I'd love to see these numbers increase in the fourth quarter, maybe 25 to 30% revenue growth year over year and commercial customer count staying anywhere in that 35 to 40% year over year growth. Those are huge numbers because if you can keep the customers coming in, they are going to feed into your revenue numbers eventually. Oftentimes with Palantir, their revenue is not always upfront with a lot of these customers. They get them into their system, trying their software, and down the line they start upselling them and charging them more for their software and what it can do for their business once they have established that relationship and shown the capabilities. And hopefully we see commercial customer growth reflected in their numbers, which they are expected to report on February 5th, and analysts have EPS coming in at positive 8 cents and revenue coming in at $602.8 million. Keep in mind that these numbers are non-GAAP EPS numbers, and Yahoo Finance actually has an estimate of positive 7 cents of non-GAAP EPS, and if we compare that year over year, we could see that they came in with around positive 4 cents of EPS a year ago, so about 100% growth year over year. And in 2023, analysts have an average EPS estimate of 25 cents, a low estimate of 22 cents, and a high estimate of 27 cents. And in 2024, they're actually not expecting these numbers to grow that much. Only 29 cents for an average EPS estimate, 23 cents for a low, and 35 cents for a high estimate. However, in my opinion, the most important metric for Palantir right now is their revenue growth year over year. And I think if they focus on their commercial customer base, they will see their revenue growth increase in a major way. However, right now, they are seeing their growth slow down slightly, sitting around 18.4% year over year revenue growth. That is based off an estimate of around $602 million for the fourth quarter. However, if they come in and hit the high estimate for revenue in the fourth quarter of $612.8 million, that would be about 20% growth year over year, which is slightly better, but I'd still love to see that number get closer to 25%. And for Palantir to hit that 25% growth number year over year, they'd have to put up a revenue of around $635 to $636 million. And even with all the AI hype that we saw last year, Palantir's revenue has actually been slowing down. We can see that in 2022, they had around 22% growth year over year. However, over the course of the last year, it's been sitting around 17 to kind of 18%, and they are starting to seemingly turn this around. However, I think it's important to also see interest rates drop to kind of help these numbers, because that will allow a lot of commercial customers to reinvest into their business because money will be more readily available. And ultimately, the reason revenue is so important right now is because of the scalability of Palantir's business. When you offer software as a service like Palantir does, once you start scaling up the business and ramping up revenue numbers, you don't require as much money to roll out this software. You've already built it out with similar business models, and you can just roll roll it out to these other customers with very little overhead costs. And we've started to see that over the course of the last year. This is their net income. It started becoming positive in the fourth quarter of 2022, and we have seen them maintain that over the course of the last year. And now finally we're seeing that they have hit positive net income on a trailing 12-month basis, and they're projecting that they are going to maintain this indefinitely into the future. However, one X factor that could have a big impact on Palantir's stock price in 2024 is buybacks. We see their shares outstanding over the course of the last few years has just been increasing. They were sitting around 1.76 billion shares outstanding in 2020, and that number has actually grown to around 2.326 billion shares outstanding in 2023. Last year, we saw Palantir roll out a $1 billion buyback program, and they haven't really started using this quite yet. However, what I'd like to see in 2024, especially if the stock dips, Palantir jump in and buy some of their shares back. This will help increase their EPS numbers and really motivate investors and show a lot of positivity about where the stock price could be going in the future. And yes, compared to a year ago, the stock is up in a massive way. However, I think if we see Palantir really fall anywhere around that $14 mark or lower, it would be nice to see them buying back some of their shares, again, to motivate investors and show them that they have a lot of faith in where the company is headed. But like I always say, do not buy a company just because some random guy on YouTube talked about it. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. I do own shares of Palantir. I think the business is in a great position over the next couple of years, especially if we start seeing interest rates drop and companies begin looking for ways to reinvest into their business. So again, don't buy this just because I talked about it. I hope you did enjoy the video though. If you did, drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day.